watching News Hour live on GBC News, and we remain a while longer on education. A National Standardized Test (NST) for Primary 4 students will be administered on the 17th of December 2021. The standardized test is spearheaded by the Ministry of Education and the Ghana Education Service. Following this development, all basic schools in the country will vacate on the same day, December 17. Meanwhile, the Ghana National Council of Private Schools is not too sure whether students in the private schools will be part of the process after a meeting with the Ministry of Education that the exam will cover both the public and private schools starting next academic year. Joining us to throw more light on the issue is the National Executive Director of the Ghana National Council of Private Schools, Mr. Enoch Gyetuah. Good afternoon, Mr. Gyetuah. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and we trust you are also doing well. I want to pick your thoughts on your understanding of being called for in the first place, and if that has been explained critically to the private schools which you head.
Thank you very much. And let me also extend my greetings and my wishes to your church viewers this afternoon. When we say national or national standards test, it is a new form of an assessment and external assessment that has been introduced based on the introduction of the national standard assessment. The assessment focuses on the three key areas: communication, creativity, and collaboration. But we will be using what we call numeracy and literacy to conduct it. As part of the introduction of the new curriculum, there's a need for the government to assess a standard of all the teachers and the students in the pre-tertiary institutions, so that there will be, let's say, remediations and other interventions that will be able to roll out if we find out that the standards of education is not meeting the benchmarks that we are looking at it. So it is through that the Ministry of Education has awarded the contract to WAEC to conduct the maiden edition coming 17th December 2021. And we know very well that the meetings that we have had with the Ministry of Education and 8 agencies, private schools will be added coming next year, 2022.
So you understand that for this one that's about to happen next Friday, the private schools are not going to be part of the standardized test?
Yes, that is certainly so. The one that is happening coming Friday or 17th December, which happens to be the maiden edition, the private schools across the country will not be participating. And in a sense that this is a pilot project that the government will want to test the waters to see how we can roll out a nationwide assessment through all the schools. So the private schools have been informed. We have had a meeting, and the ministry did inform us that this maiden one will not capture the details of the private schools, but the subsequent years assessment, which will be carried out from Basic 2, Basic 4, 6, and Basic 8 will be added. The private schools will be participating. So we understand that, and we believe that the promise that the ministry has given to us will come to fruition.
Mr. Gyetuah, a lot of people have come to accept the BECE as the final exam for pupils in basic school before they enter senior high. What's the impact of a basic 4, and we understand is going to extend to basic 2 and even 6th year in the coming years? What exactly are we seeking to achieve by introducing such exams at these younger ages?
Thank you very much. The main purpose of this introduction or the NSAT is to have a track record or a database of all learners who have been in schools. You know, as we speak now, It is only end of course assessment, that is BEC, that we can rely on it that this child has done this. But the time we are writing the BEC, a child may be confronted with so many things that they may not be able to see the actual performance of the child. So having these intervention programs in place, one, it will help the teachers to bring out all the remediation matters to support the teaching and learning material, or let's say the teaching and learning activities we have in the school. Secondly, during the COVID, one of the challenges we faced was that during the COVID, students were asked to go to examination hall to write the exam because the country failed in having a database that will be used to reflect or make a decision as to whether the child will be able to progress or not. But this one will give us a reliable database drawn from the child infancy as a history of the child. So that whenever there is any challenge, any pandemic, or any, let's say, situation that will not help the child to be able to go through the end of course assessment, that kind of information will be there to serve us as a reference point.
Are you implying that
this is something that is going to help education, is going to shape our educational scope and give us the kind of history of each and every child, so that we can track the career development of every child in this country?
Mr. Gyetuah, does that mean cumulative records are not going to be used anymore in assessing the performance of pupils and students at the basic level?
My sister, the cumulative records, as we have been saying, is just like a name that we have been given to it. It is not reflecting as it's supposed to be, because teachers don't really have any interest in that, and school administrators have not been giving their input in that. So what they mostly do is that when the children get to JHS3, manufacture certain points and certain marks and give it to the child for the child to be able to pass. And that is not enough. What we need is that we need to have a reliable database. As we speak now, when you go to class 2, you just ask children in the class 2 their performance. You won't get it. And it has been happening to our country for a very long period of time. So as I was saying, during the COVID, we were deeply challenged to ask the children to go and face examination once the COVID was seriously in our domain. So when we have a thorough educational system or a sort of database picked from the child infancy, basic 2, whatever the child will do will be captured. Then we put it there on the records. Basic 4 will be added to it. It will help educational researchers to know the trends and the kind of methods that we have to even have in our country. Decision making in terms of policy direction to be able to do in the country will also be enhanced. As we speak now, the introduction of the new curriculum was not based on any, let's say, subject, any substantiate, let's say, evidence-based. It was all on assumption on the BEC. But this one will serve us as a guide. So every 5 years, if we are venturing to renew or come out with educational policy, we will have a reliable database to fall on it to make adequate preparations and to make informed decisions for this country.
Right. Thank you so much for spending time to explain these things to us. Mr. Enoch Gyetuah is the National Executive Director at the Ghana National Council of Private Schools. He's been speaking to us about the upcoming National Standardized Test for Basic 4 pupils, which will be conducted on December 17. And he's been telling us why it is necessary, saying that it will help to serve as a database to have access to the performance of pupils even before they take the end of junior high school exam, which is the BEC. It's a developing story. So